Imagine this. You are sitting in a hospital bed. You haven't slept properly in 3 days. The machines are beeping, the walls are white and cold, and you feel completely alone. And then the door opens, and it's them. The person whose music got you through the worst year of your life. The person whose movies made you forget your problems for 2 hours when you had nothing else. The person you've looked up to since you were 8 years old. Standing right there, in your room, holding your hand. That is not a fantasy. That has happened to real people, more times than you know. And today, we're telling their stories. Because in a world that can feel genuinely dark sometimes, these moments deserve to be seen. Every single one of them. Get comfortable and maybe keep a tissue nearby. You've been warned. We start with one of the most recent stories and one of the most quietly devastating and then suddenly beautiful ones I've come across. June 2025, Hollywood, Florida. Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. Taylor Swift had been in town the night before for the Stanley Cup Finals. Most celebrities in that situation wake up the next morning, check out, get on a plane. That's just a reality of how celebrity schedules work. But Taylor Swift did not check out. Instead, she asked her team to arrange something. She went room to room through an entire children's hospital. No press announcement beforehand, no big production, no cameras rolling for a brand deal. Just Taylor Swift walking down hospital hallways, knocking on doors.
We have a special guest. May I come in?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Hey, I'm Taylor. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Zoe? It's so nice to meet you. Is it okay if I sit?
Yeah.
Amazing.
One of those rooms had a girl named Zoe inside. The footage from the hospital tells you everything you need to know without a single word of narration. You see the door open, you see Zoe look up, and then you watch her face cycle through every single emotion a human face is capable of. Disbelief, shock, confusion, and then something that breaks you a little. Pure, overwhelmed joy. The kind of joy that only exists when something is so good you don't quite believe it's real yet. Taylor sat down right next to her bed, not standing at a distance, right next to her. She complimented Zoe's nails. She hugged her. And then she said something so simple it stopped me when I heard it. You're going through so much. You're so amazing to be so positive and so friendly to us. You're awesome. She wasn't delivering a line. She wasn't performing kindness for a camera. She was just sitting with a kid who was having the worst stretch of her life and telling her she was seen. The hospital posted about it afterward with a caption that read, "You turned hospital hallways into a place of joy, comfort, and connection. The magic will stay with them long after today." The chief of surgery at the hospital said Taylor Swift was, quote, "undeniably one of the kindest human beings I have ever had the privilege of meeting." That's not a fan saying that. That's a surgeon, a person who has met thousands of people in extraordinary circumstances. That matters. There's one more detail from that visit that I cannot stop thinking about. At one point, Taylor walked into a room and she was the one who got surprised. The young patient pulled out a Chiefs blanket, one with a square on it that said, "Go Taylor's boyfriend." Taylor Swift walked into a children's hospital to make kids' days better, and one of those kids made her day better right back. That's the whole thing, right there. This next one is older, but I don't think enough people know it, and once you hear it, you won't forget it. Melody Driscoll was 16 months old when she was diagnosed with Rett syndrome. It's a rare neurological disorder, degenerative and brutal, and it causes significant and constant pain. Melody cannot speak. The disease took her ability to communicate in the way most of us take for granted. But Melody's parents noticed something. Whenever Ed Sheeran's music came on, whenever that voice filled the room, Melody calmed. The pain seemed to quiet. She'd stop crying, she'd settled. Ed Sheeran's music was, by every measurable reaction, the one thing that consistently reached Melody in a way nothing else could.
So honey now.
Pop singer Ed Sheeran stopped by a hospital.
Her parents started a campaign to make a meeting happen. This is already a beautiful story just at this point, a family advocating that hard for their child. But then something happened that they didn't fully expect. Ed Sheeran said yes. In 2016, he walked into Melody's hospital room. He didn't come in with an entourage. He didn't bring a publicist to manage the moment. He brought a small pink guitar. And he sat down and played for her. Melody can't speak. She couldn't tell him what it meant. She couldn't say thank you in the way most of us would. But her face said everything. The joy on her face, the absolute light of it. communicated more than any words could. Her parents, who had watched their daughter fight through pain every single day, stood there watching their little girl have the best moment of her life. Ed Sheeran is one of the most successful musicians on the planet. He has sold out stadiums on every continent. He had 1,000 things he could have been doing that day. He chose to be in that hospital room with that little pink guitar, playing for a child who couldn't tell him what it meant but showed him anyway. That's character. That's who someone actually is when no one's making them do it. I need to pause here for a moment because this next story isn't just one moment. It's a pattern, and the scale of it is genuinely staggering. John Cena has granted over 650 Make-A-Wish wishes, 650 children who were seriously ill, 650 families living through something most of us cannot imagine, and John Cena said yes 650 times. He didn't just show up and shake a hand, he shows up fully. He learns the kids' names, their stories, their favorite wrestlers. He talks to them like people, not like a charity project, not like a photo opportunity, like people he genuinely wanted to be in the room with. In 2020, during the height of the pandemic, when almost all in-person Make-A-Wish experiences were suspended, John Cena found the way through. He masked up, gloved up, followed every protocol, and visited 7-year-old David Castle from Florida, who was fighting cancer, because his wish was to meet him. A global pandemic was not enough reason to cancel on a 7-year-old with cancer. He showed up. What strikes me about Cena, and this is a man who built one of the most recognizable personas in entertainment, is that the wish visits are almost always quiet. He doesn't post most of them. He doesn't turn them into content. He's done 650 of these, and a huge percentage of them the public only finds out about from the families themselves, not from Cena. There's a version of charity that's for the camera, and then there's this. October 2024, the Disney lot in California. Dwayne Johnson is on set filming the live-action version of Moana, a massive production, a packed schedule, a day full of things competing for his attention. An 11-year-old Marco is there on a tour, and Marco sees The Rock. The video that Johnson later posted on Instagram starts with Marco already overwhelmed. Just the proximity, just being that close to someone who has meant so much to him. He's trying to hold it together and not quite managing. And then Johnson sees him, really sees him, and the entire tone of the moment shifts. Johnson walks over, gets down to Marco's level, pulls him in for a hug, and he stays. He doesn't do a quick photo and move on. He's there, with this kid, fully. Johnson wrote about it afterward with something that I think gets at why this stuff matters so deeply. They say never meet your heroes, but that saying always bugged the heck out of me. If you're lucky enough to have fame and influence, be grateful and be kind, especially to our kids. He talked about meeting Muhammad Ali as a young man, how Ali was warm, how he put a young Dwayne Johnson on his lap, how kind he was, how that moment made a massive impression on him that he never forgot. The Rock became who he became in part because a hero was kind to him when he was small, and now he passes it forward. Every time, on a busy film lot in the middle of a shooting day when he had every reason to wave and walk on, he stopped for Marco. He stopped. The final story is a different kind of surprise. Not a hospital, not a film lot, a movie screening, a packed room, and a man named Oscar Rodriguez who had no idea what was about to happen. Dwayne Johnson had read Oscar's story. Oscar, a Navy veteran, was quietly doing extraordinary things, supporting his 75-year-old mother, volunteering at his church, running programs for women who needed support, giving back to his community in the kind of steady, unglamorous way that never makes headlines. Dwayne Johnson was holding a special screening of his Netflix movie, Red Notice. He invited Oscar, and then, in front of the entire audience, he told Oscar's story, out loud, to the room. He read off the list of things Oscar does for other people, and then he said the 4 words that nobody saw coming. Now it's your truck. He gave Oscar his own personal customized pickup truck from the film, not a sponsor's vehicle, not a prop, his truck. As Oscar started crying, Johnson told him, "You do a lot of good for people, brother. The gym, the church, your mom, women who are going through it. You deserve this." Oscar could barely speak. He managed one sentence as he drove away. It's just love. That's the whole thing. It's just love. We spend a lot of time online seeing the worst version of famous people, the controversies, the scandals, the moments of ego and entitlement. Those get clicks. Those travel fast. But this also exists. A pop star sitting on a hospital bed next to a girl who's scared. A guitar player serenading a child who can't speak but whose face says everything. A wrestler showing up for his 650th sick kid with the same presents he brought to the first one. A truck given away because someone simply deserved it. Fame is loud. Kindness is often quiet, but when the two meet, when someone with every reason to coast decides instead to show up, really show up on someone's worst day, it becomes the kind of thing people remember for the rest of their lives. And apparently, something worth watching on YouTube at whatever hour you're watching this. If this hit you, share it with someone who needs it today. Subscribe if you're new. And if you know a story like this that we missed, drop it in the comments. I genuinely read them. See you in the next one.